So, I was thinking about this topic of embracing the moment as it is. And I thought about it and I was like, well, what's the medicine that's true for me right now? I mean, it's literally true for me. It's like, just so you know. And every moment is intense and amplified. And sometimes I feel like, it's like my own personal, like, satellite station of all these moments going off in different channels with different emotions, different feelings, different cartoon images, different characters. And it's, I don't know about you, but wow, that's so intense and a lot. And then it's just coming at me and then with me and then together. And I don't know if it's always been that way, or is it just the COVID thing that's just amplified this, life that's just in full color, and in its bigness in so many ways. The most subtle of things can be so huge. And then, I don't know about you, just like every moment to moment you're meeting it, and then you're just like, one day, one moment you're happy, the next moment it's like, oh my God, that just pissed me off. Next moment, I'm rolling down this hill, and you're just like, I can't stop, I'm gonna fall. And then these moments just like get caught up in themselves, and then I'm caught up in the moment. And then I'm really caught up. Does that make sense to everyone? Is that happening to you? Like, getting really caught up. And I'm like caught up, especially when it involves other people and other teams and other relationships, and caught up and going, wait a minute. This is their stuff. Let me back up a little bit. And then where I am in this moment. Okay. And then just meeting that moment as it is. And then that's why I was just like, for the last couple of weeks, is it true? Is it true, this moment? Is it true, or is it my mind believing or fabricating the truth of what I think is true? And just catching myself in it and noticing, is this true? And then noticing the sensitivity of my mind, or the vulnerability of my mind, the tenderness of my being, of this moment. And then recognizing that that's the tone that's really, kind of a shadow of the moment, the tone of vulnerability, the tone of uncertainty, the tone of I'm not enough, or the moment's not enough, I want more. And how that impacts me, how it lands. And then just going each time, is it true? Is it true? And how do I bring myself to a place that's grounding, and let alone, how do I say this? Let alone where I'm meeting a sound mind, just mind that is grounded and, present and meeting and stable, rather than a mind that is minding all over itself, and that's like a minefield of stuff. And so right now for me, this practice is just cultivating how I can train my mind to be really with what's here, and to embody the moment, like bring it into the house of my body, connecting with the body that lives in this present moment, just like a toddler. It's telling you, I'm in pain, I'm achy, I'm hungry, I have desire, it just keeps going. The body too is living this full-on dimensional life in itself. And then the mind is also, going off, living its full dimension of itself. And is it aligned? Is it incongruent? Let alone my own free will, my own spirit, my own, that spirit that drives me to be in this practice in the first place. And also just this beautiful practice of coming towards, as the Buddha would say, towards ourselves, towards the moment, turning towards ourselves in the moment and not turning away, and all of it. And finding the truth of grounding in ourselves in that moment and allowing the practice to feel just as it is, what it is. Like, wow, out of that 30 minutes, I had 5 minutes of real peace. Or out of that 30 minutes, I had 30 seconds of no critiquing of the moment. Out of that 30 minutes, I had 10 minutes of just feeling my body exactly where it is. Wow, I didn't even, feel the mind push me. I felt the thoughts arising, but I came back to the body and I anchored into this moment and I turned to what is here. And then you realize that something comes up, something is here, something is present, something is calling our attention. So I love to just bring this quote in because I was just reading this from Bhante Gunaratana, who is this Sri Lankan Theravada monk, really done some wonderful mindfulness meditations and talk. He says that mindfulness meditation is a form of mental training that will teach you to experience the world in an entirely new way. You will learn for the first time what is truly happening to you, around you and within you. It is a process of self-discovery, a participatory process of investigation in which you observe your own experience while participating in them as they occur. The practice must be approached with this attitude: never mind what I've been taught. Forget about theories and prejudgments and stereotypes. I want to understand the true nature of life. I want to know what this experience of being alive really is. I want to apprehend the true and deepest quality of life. And I don't want to just accept somebody else's explanation. I want to see it for myself. If you pursued your meditation practice with this attitude, you will succeed. You will find yourself observing things objectively, exactly as they are, flowing, changing from moment to moment. Life then takes on an unbelievable richness which cannot be described. It has to be experienced. And that's it, the experience itself. That experience that you get from the 30 minutes meditation, that's nowhere else duplicated in that moment, at that time. And I love that. That's what brought me to the Dharma. What brought me to the Dharma is, the Buddha saying, don't believe me, just practice, just see for yourself, turn towards what is true for you. Is the mind fabricating? Let me put the quote on here. I can talk and write, but it's a little hard to see. And I think he has some YouTube stuff as well. He has some teachings on YouTube. And and when we turn towards ourselves and we see what is here and what is true and what we thought it was true, because the mind loves to fabricate, the mind loves to, I don't know about your mind, but my mind loves a good story. It likes expanding. It loves color. It loves the drama of life that's so complex and rich. And, I wouldn't have it any other way, just so you all know. So it's kind of, the dichotomy that I live with right now is Dharma teacher and a full life full of everything made up in my own mind. So it's like when you just see this full, place of oneself and the complexity of your own self through this body, through the emotions, through this mind state, and how your inner world is being impacted from the outer world and the dance between them both. And then, that we're existing in this place of trusting the mystery of life without even knowing it, because there's a full life behind the unseen world as well. I love I really like to braid the indigenous and the mystery and the Buddha Dharma. There's so much that our life that is holding us, that is unseen and unknown to us. But yet without it, we wouldn't even be here. We can list it on. And then we can just go out for a walk and know that, or drive a car and know that we're going to stop at a stoplight and trusting that the other cars will do the same. It doesn't always work, but there's a trust, a collective trust that the light that says green, that it's really us going in the car, that we can trust that that's what's going to happen. Every day we're practicing this trust in the mystery of our life. We trust when we wake up and we're going to go through our day that it's going to actually flow in some way, in this trusting way. But then when it gets cut off by the external factors of what's happening, such as what we're in now, the crisis of the world on fire, and all of the harm that's being done, and we get on this technology, and if we don't control our relationship to the internet or this technology, we can get hijacked with this like psychological warfare of what images, millions of them coming at us all the time. All the messages and all the social medias, all the messages from not just in our own world, but the messages that are happening just in this computer world, this internet world, the cyberspace world. And do we believe it? Do we start to question it? Do we believe this, what's happening right now? Do we believe what is occurring right now is really true? I mean, these are deep questions that I ask myself. Like, is it true that right now white supremacy is the majority of the world? Is that true? Because it sure in the hell feels like it when I turn on TV. But is that true? Because I need to gain my resource back, my self-preservation back. I need to come back in myself to gain the strength and the truth that I know, and build the trust that I connect to the nature of life, mystery of life. Or do I trust what people are saying and take it as mine? So where does the truth lie? And how do we call on becoming resilience, let alone, caring for ourselves in a way that, gives us the resilience, that gives us self-preservation, that gives us an act of care and love. And I think that, now more than ever, we need these practices to ground within ourselves and to ground within the moment and to turn towards ourselves. Because honestly, this practice, this cultivation of practice for myself, I can trust that for me. I can trust if I turn to the moment and I meet my frustration, or if I turn to the moment and I can meet that, what is true about it or not, that for me is what's going to reveal what is. And through that can be healing. Through that I can find the strength to be courageous, to stand for myself, to have the courage to stand by who I am, let alone to have the courage to stand by my community, let alone to have the courage to even fight for those who've not yet come to Earth, let alone have the courage to remember those leaving right now and not being remembered and being erased, our own story, our own history. Who's going to remember? So for me, this practice is right. I never thought I would say it, but it's an act of political warfare in a sense for my self-preservation as a woman of color, as a queer woman of color. And I think that, anything that cultivates for myself is turning towards what's true for me and what's real for me, and gains the care that I need for my own heart and to mend the unattended wounds that may arise through the silence that I'm cultivating. And I don't mean the silence that the external puts on us or anyone else. I mean the silence where we can drop in, the cultivation through stillness of the embodiment of the moment, and to go into the complexity of who you are in this body through elements, through the 4 elements, through the sense doorways. Just those alone, the elements, 5 elements, 6 doorways, that's 11 doors. That's complexity of just this body. And the opening of who we are more than what we see or perceive ourselves to be as this body, this identity, this is Carol when I look in the mirror. No, I have fire, I have water, I have air, I have space, I have earth. I smell, I taste, I hear, I see, I feel, I think. That's just in the body. That's not even the energetic body. That's not even the mind. That's not even the emotion. See, indigenous people and ancient traditions, we knew that we had 4 different types of intelligence. We knew that our intelligence were just not mental. It was physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. There are many realms of intelligence running through us. So I can go on forever. Sorry, Julio and Antoinette. But I could get fired up because I am fired up. I mean, this is a fire up time. The fire that takes no wood, as my late beloved teacher would say, that ignites within myself to keep persevering for, seeking the truth of each moment as it is, with gentleness, kindness, to cultivate care for yourself and self-preservation so that you can restore yourself to be courageously who you are, the beauty of who you are, and stand by that with each other, because we can't do this alone. So this practice is a lifeline in many ways, a lifeline to what is a reality that I choose to wake up to each and every time, not someone else's reality placed on mine. May the merit of tonight's practice altogether, coming relationally, feel soothing, nurturing self-care, and may all those who may feel that there's a break or a lack of relationships right now at this time, feeling lonely or isolated, may they start to find soothing and care within their own self and openness to other relationships around them. May they stay open, curious, and engage. May our practice benefit all in all directions. So be it.